Hello and welcome back to Advanced Hwoarang Lessons. Today's lesson will be a continuation of Hwoarang's 4 stances. So again, LFF, RFF, LFS, and RFS. The stance we'll be looking into today is so-called bully stance. Bully stance. Why do they call it the bully stance? Well, they call right foot forward the bully stance because this happens. Has this happened to you? Has this happened to you? I'm pretty sure it did. Or you were the one bullying your opponent at the wall. The more you remain in RFF in that specific situation, the more your opponent's going to be on your toes. Because this can get looped. You can go into down 3-4, loop it again. It's just a nightmare to be against. So let's dive into right foot forward. So right foot forward over here, it's like the middle ground. Think of it as like, so if LFF is the central hub to enter every stance, because it has moves to enter all the stances and you can enter all the stances manually, such as like doing forward 3, down 3-4, etc, etc, etc. You get it. Again, the link will be in the description for the LFF video. So RFF is more of a middle ground for more offense and neutral. Less on the defensive side of things. You can still backdash. You can see there's a little hop here in RFF. And then you can also like get a dash. Probably a little bit faster than a regular dash. I mean, just look at that. Look at the distance from there. If I dash up from here, I guess it's more or less the same. It's just that you can maintain that threat in RFF, which is a big deal because you have access to a good number of moves. Now, mainly the one that is responsible for a lot of damage, RFF DF4 and LFF moves. So you say you walk up, you dash in, you can do a DF1 plus 2, you can do a DF1, you can do a down back 4, you can do the orbital, you can do up 3, you can do up 4, T plus 4, down 3 plus 4, JFSR. You know, just to name a few LFF moves that you can press in RFF, which is a big deal. It is a middle ground, right? So you can immediately, so if in LFF you can go from LFF to RFS, you can also go from RFF to RFS. And you can like maintain safety by doing a DF1. So you can control space by doing, let's say, backlash over here, RFF DF4, RFF2. It's like the same thing with like whiffing a jab, just to check your opponent's reaction if they're gonna attempt to whiff punish something, or just stay here and, you know, dare them. It's like, hey, walk into this JFSR or walk into this DF2. So you can still do that, and you can hop into it. So you get additional options in RFF. So you have LFF options and RFF options. And this is what RFF does to help LFF in situations like this in neutral. You can also do that in offense. You wave into RFF. You can do something, let's say like a DF1, then sidestep into RFF back 2. That is completely possible. So there's, again, as you can see, you're gonna see it on screen, which are the moves that transition to RFF. Feel free to pause the video. I'll be highlighting a couple of moves from RFF. That the main one is probably going to be RFF DF4 because this is the origins of the bully stance. So the sequence for this at the wall is RFF DF4 forward into RFS2. And then since you go back into RFF from RFS2, you can opt to loop back into RFF DF4, or if they're already stand blocking and not pressing a button, you can take full advantage of that and hit them with down 3-4. And then, if you let the foot go down, you can go RFF DF4 again, or you can go straight back into RFF by doing RFF2. Anything that puts you back into RFF, essentially, again, there's just too many threats. There's backlash, there's RFF back 2, RFF DF4. It's a nightmare. It truly is a nightmare for an opponent to deal with. Just look at the frames. Again, that's plus 12. Wow. Plus 24, plus 18 on hit. But on block, there's really nothing they can do. And then you can stand switch, cancel. Like you can just see the possibilities of being able to maintain offensive neutral and your offense. Because in LFF, how that would look like down 3-4, RFS DF4. And then 1-2. Still an LFF. If there's left flamingo, that would look something like down 3-4, LFS 3 forward into LFS 1. You're eventually going to go back to LFF because, again, all things go back to LFF or RFF. If you do it from RFS, you want to maintain an RFS, that's like RFS F4, and you keep hitting them with that kind of mix-up. And then you bring it back into RFS 2, and then you're back into RFF. And then RFF has the capability to get access to all of that. Again, they're gonna feed into each other. And RFF is, again, it's that middle ground for offense, mainly for offense and neutral. But when you get the offensive wall pressure, man, does it hurt for your opponent so much. So look at the sequences that you have as Hwoarang and take note where you can get RFF. Think of it as your reset point to continue more and more pressure against your opponent. So yeah, that was a short overview of right foot forward. That's been the lesson for today. Again, you're gonna see it the next lesson somewhere on the other side of the screen for the next advanced Hwoarang lesson.